Sometimes we're born with a scoliosis. Other times our scoliosis are made by our sports. So I want to talk a little bit about functional scoliosis for the right side dominant athlete. You are an IFBB Pro master bodybuilder.
Yes.
And a master bowler. And so what's your sidedness?
Right-sided bowler.
So many sports, we develop this from our throwing side, our racket side, our ultimate side, golf, to be dominant. So we're going to address that in this sequence. And really what the theme of the sequence is that if I'm right side dominant, then my right rib cage is likely to be riveted more in a downwardly rotated position, meaning the right ribs and the muscles on the right side are so tight that they don't actually have a lot of elasticity and a lot of play. However, on the opposite side, the left ribs are going to be flipped up. They're going to be a little bit more of a hyperinflated state. So what this exercise or what this little sequence is designed to do is to attend to building tension in the left side so that the right side has an opportunity to regain its elasticity and regain its play. And we're going to use the courgeous ball, we're going to use breath, we're going to use position, and I need your ribs to be visible. So for the right side dominant people, the courgeous ball goes on the left side of the rib cage. And so obviously if you're a left-hand dominant athlete, you would lay face down with the courgeous ball pinned against your right side. But since Greg is right dominant, we're going to connect with the pressures in his left rib cage. And so this is a yoga block. You can use a stack of books or something that just helps to balance the position so he can rest his head. Now, I want to teach these ribs to be dynamic and elastic. So the overpressure is a sense of constant pressure on the ribs. So you're going to do that yourself with your own right hand. And the challenge with this is if you don't have a lot of internal rotation with your right shoulder, it's hard to get your hand there. So you could also put like a pillow there and kind of squish yourself down. So here's the exercise. Take a massive breath into the left and right ribs at the same time. Hold your breath and then activate the muscles of your trunk. So you want to create tension in this hyperinflated state. And now exhale and deliberately overpress. Force the air out. Great, until you're absolutely empty, till you get to that wheeze state. Then immediately reinflate. Hold your breath. Create tension inside your rib cage. And now start to overpress from that right arm, pressing down, becoming a smaller version of a rib cage. Get all the air out, and feel it emptying out the left side too. The left side is being overpressed by gravity and the ball. In fact, it's getting more than the right. Inhale, hold your breath, create tension, and then exhale, get rid of the air. Great. So this starts to help to build the upward rotation and downward rotation capacity for both the right and the left rib. I want to get my right ribs open now, but we're really trying to think. So our next challenge is to now deliberately overclose the left ribs and to hyperinflate the right ribs to get them into an upwardly ventilating shape. And so we're not going to do this one quite yet. We're going to do a little miniature side bend. So the miniature side bend is this. Breathe into your ribs, just like you did before. Good. Temporarily hold your breath. Now start to think. Close the left rib cage. Slide the left ribs to the left pelvic bone and the left pelvic bone up to the left ribs as you exhale. So get rid of the air. Get rid of the air. Knit the ribs and the pelvis together on that left side. Get rid of 10 more candles of air. Good. Inhale and get longer. Good. Temporarily hold your breath. Create just a little bit of pre-tension. And then on exhale, it's a side bend. Left ribs closing down. Left pelvic bone moving up. You want to try to shrink the insides of your left lungs. Get them as small as possible. Good. Inhale, elongate. Now also, when you're doing that side bend, and he's going to do one more round here, you want to make sure that you're not flexing the spine to get rid of the air, but you're truly doing a frontal plane motion. You're doing a side bend here. Now exhale, side bend. Yeah, no child posing here. So it's just a side bend. So move your lumbar spine away from my finger. So you have neutral spine, but it's bending to the side. and then release. So it's very difficult to manage that because often those actions get coupled, but you want to try to be very pure about the frontal plane action. And now we're going to go into transverse plane. So we're doing all different plane work for the rib cage here. So now he's got his knees and his thighs at a 90-degree angle rather. They're pinned together and they don't get to shift or move. And now his main objective here is to not let the pelvis shift. And then in very dramatic fashion, he's going to really dial a lasso all around his body and make breath enter and exit whimsically and organically. So trying to get the right rib cage to move all the way around the left rib cage. So if you think of the two hemispheres of the rib cage almost like scrolls that can mobilize around this wonderful anchor of the spine in between them. So even more drama. Even more movement. And so this is giving the right ribs a chance to open and to elastically move through a great range of motion. I'll go ahead and reverse it. There is, with each repetition, the dynamism of this is that you want to look for just a little bit more range, just a little bit more motion. So getting even more derotation, and getting even more overhead reach, and then getting even more forward motion. Beautiful. Good. And then release. And so this is a great little package to constantly retune your sidedness if you're a side dominant athlete. Throwing, rowing, archery, golf, bowling. This is how you rebalance your body so that you're more effective in your sport.